A number of years ago, I was giving a class in New York City. At the end of the class, two young women came over to me. And one of them was very striking. As she got closer, I realized, very beautiful face, but it was recreated. And she tells me her story. American girl in the United States decided to visit Israel. And she fell in love, and she decided she's going to stay to study. She grew up in a secular home. She didn't tell her parents. She said she's going to the Middle East because she knew they would not approve. And then, unfortunately, one Friday she was waiting for a friend at a cafe in Jerusalem. And one of the first big suicide bombings took place, killing a whole bunch of people, sadly. And she survived, barely. She ended up in the hospital. Her face was blown off, sadly, tragically. She lost her hearing partially, some of her eyesight, her smell. Her parents saw her covered in blood in the news, and they came flying, of course, to Israel. So besides the fact that she felt she was completely physically destroyed, emotionally, she was so angry. She said, God, I came here to study your Torah in your holy land. Take my life. Why leave me like this wretched, broken container? And then one morning she woke up, she said, and there was some surge of strength within her. She didn't know where it came from. And these were her words, unforgettable words. You don't know the power of faith until you have nothing left but faith. I remember it was etched in my mind. And I was looking at her. Talk about faith and miracles. Yet another lesson from Chanukah. There's a big stereotype, a mistaken, distorted, I would say, understanding of what faith is. Many people think faith is absence of reason. Some even dismiss it. It's a crutch for the needy, for the desperate, for the irrational, a primitive tool. Today in our world and life of knowledge and science and free inquiry, faith has no place. Same thing with miracles. What miracles? Everything is scientific, everything can be empirically explained. But missing a key point here. Maybe faith was presented the wrong way to many of us. Faith is not the absence of reason. It's actually where reason leads us to. Reason and the mind, like a computer, can only go that far. But there are certain doors to enter. You need other tools, supersensory tools, super-rational tools. I remember after one of my classes, a conversation we were having, people were talking about their lives. And one of them was a doctor who delivered babies. And I remember him saying, I have to share with you why I do the work I do. I work in New York Hospital on the 8th floor, where we deliver new children. Sometimes it's the middle of the day and you hear the rush hour outside on the FDR. Sometimes it's the quiet of the night. But no one's rushing to see the birth of a child. I always think of the contrast, people rushing back home, going to work, coming from work, going to events, or rushing just to rush. And here the greatest miracle of all is taking place, the birth of a child. And it brings me to tears every time. The Baal Shem Tov, the great mystic, says, the difference between a miracle and a natural event is only frequency. If the sun were to rise once in our lifetimes, everyone would come running out. Wow. But since it happens every day, we get used to it. And then we need new novelty. We need a new rush. Miracles are happening all the time around us if you just stop to look. An average person breathes between 12 and 18 breaths every minute. Did you know that? As you're listening to me. Exhale and inhale. We take it for granted. But then when you see someone struggling to breathe, you realize, 1 second, How many mechanisms? How many things have to be in place for this to work? Chanukah is a wake-up call. It tells us things seemed hopeless, but there was faith. And then they found a small flax of oil, and it burned. And it continues to burn till this day. Who would believe, thousands of years later, those flames continue to burn, and above all, in the spirit. So Chanukah is a good time to revisit. What is faith in your life? What is reason? What is natural events and what are miracles? It's not that simple. Everything is a miracle. And everything is more than reason. Reason takes us to a place. But when you fall in love, or you make another decision about something in life, is it pure reason? Reason can help you evaluate. But then when you take the leap, you need to take a step. You need something more. So maybe use this story of the flames of Chanukah to help us strengthen and exercise, perhaps, and flex muscles we may not have used recently. The muscles of faith, the muscles of inner strength, the muscles of miracles. May we see these miracles in our natural lives and see the extraordinary within the ordinary. Happy Chanukah.